Some mistakes don't destroy you all at once. They rot you slowly from the inside in silence. It began on one of those deceptively quiet evenings. Mom was upstairs, lost in one of her marathon phone calls. And for a while, the house felt like it belonged only to us. I sat beside him on the couch, laughing softly. A story from when I was 10. Something innocent. But the silence that followed my laugh wasn't comfort. It was something else. "You should be careful," he said, voice low. "This feels strange." Strange? I smiled. Or familiar? He didn't answer. He didn't move either. "My name is Ava. And I always knew how to make people lean in without saying too much. I was raised like royalty. Karen and Vera handed me a life many would envy. Gowns, travel, tutors, and indulgence. But eventually, the princess wants to rule. Karen, my father, was no ordinary man. He had gravity, charisma, a stillness that made everyone else seem noisy. As a child, I worshipped him. As I grew older, that admiration turned complicated. It began with questions. "Do you think I look good in this? Would you still say I'm beautiful if I weren't your daughter?" At first he laughed, shrugged it off, but over time his answers slowed. I noticed his hesitation when I brushed his arm, how he paused when I walked by in something too short. Meanwhile, Mom was always elsewhere, spa retreats, fundraisers, social nights. That gave us space. And silence. One night, I invited him to watch a movie, just like old times. The wine poured quietly. The lights were dim. I laughed. I leaned in. He tensed, but didn't move away. "You're drunk," he said. "No," I said. "Just honest." He stood and left. Quickly. And I smiled. I thought the night would change something. Instead, it made the morning colder. The next day, I entered the den, coffee in hand. Wearing his robe. He looked up, startled. "You should get dressed," he said. "Why?" I asked. "You've seen me in less." His jaw clenched. "I'm your father." "Then act like it." I placed the coffee down, brushing his fingers by accident, or maybe not. He didn't look at me for the rest of the day. That night, I stood outside his door, just breathing, listening, wanting him to know I was there. I didn't knock. I didn't need to. But the silence between us? It had a shape now, and we had both stepped inside it. The next morning, we sat at the kitchen table in silence. I stirred my tea slowly. He scrolled through his phone, not really reading. "Sleep well?" I asked. "Fine," he said, without looking up. "You've been quiet. There's a lot on my mind." "Me?" That caught him. His eyes lifted just for a second, then dropped again. That was all the answer I needed. The tension between us didn't explode. It simmered, lingered, grew in the corners of our conversations. I began spending more time in his space, watching him work, asking questions that had nothing to do with homework. I wasn't flirting. I was measuring, seeing how far I could reach before he pulled away. He never did. And Mom? She started to sense it. "You two have been close lately," she said over dinner one night. "We've always been close," I replied. "Not like this." She smiled, but her eyes didn't. That's when I knew the balance was shifting. A few days later, I found a small necklace on my pillow. No note, no explanation. But I knew it was from him. It wasn't just a gift. It was a quiet surrender. And I wore it like a victory. That morning, I wore it to breakfast. "New?" Mom asked. "A gift," I replied. Her eyes flicked to him. He didn't look up. "From whom?" she asked. I shrugged. "Someone who sees me." Her silence was louder than any accusation. That evening, I passed by the den and saw her paused at the door, watching us. I was curled on the couch. He sat near the fireplace. Neither of us said a word. All it takes is one look, one moment, and a mother's intuition turns into certainty. That night, I stood outside his door again. This time I knocked. He opened it slowly. "This isn't right," he whispered. "Then stop me," I whispered back. He didn't. The silence swallowed us again. But this time, It was darker, heavier. The days blurred.
He spoke less.
Ate less. One afternoon, we went to the store together. It felt almost normal. Laughing in the car. Old jokes. Until I reached for his hand.
And he let me.
A moment too long. When we returned, Mom was standing in the hallway. Arms crossed. Eyes sharp. "Everything all right?" she asked. "Perfect," I said. She didn't answer. Later that evening, he came into my room. Sat on the edge of the bed. Fully dressed. "She knows," he said quietly. "She always knew," I said. "This can't go on." "Then leave," I challenged. "I should have. A long time ago." I looked at him, at the man I'd thought I controlled. But his eyes were hollow now. And for the first time, I wasn't sure who had lost more. The morning it all collapsed began with stillness. Not the calm kind, the kind before a storm. I walked into the kitchen wearing the necklace. He was already there, coffee untouched, eyes locked on the table. "She's been watching," he murmured. "She always was. You just never noticed. I can't lie to her anymore." "Then don't." The sound of footsteps echoed down the stairs. Mom appeared in the doorway, her face unreadable.
"Sit," she said. "We did."
"I'm going to ask one question. And I want the truth." No one breathed. "Are you sleeping with my husband?" My hands didn't shake. My voice didn't crack. I didn't take anything he wasn't already offering. She didn't flinch. Not at first. "You're my daughter." "And you weren't looking," I replied. "Not at him. Not at me." Her silence turned sharp. "You destroyed everything," she whispered.
"No," I said.
"We all did." The slap came sudden and hot across my cheek. I didn't cry. I didn't speak. She walked upstairs. 10 minutes later, she returned with 2 suitcases. "This house is yours now," she said, eyes empty. "You can keep the silence, the guilt, and the man who never really belonged to you." She turned to him. "You were supposed to protect her. Then to me. And you were supposed to be mine." She left without another word. The door closed with a softness that felt louder than a scream. He sat down slowly. "She's gone," he whispered. "You let her go," I said. We both did. In the days that followed, the house changed. Quieter. Colder. I tried to reach him. Cooked meals, smiled, lingered longer at his side. But something inside him had closed. One morning, I found a packed bag by the door. "I'm going to a retreat," he said. "I've started seeing someone, a counselor." "You're leaving me?" "I have to. I've already lost your mother. If I stay here, I'll lose myself, too." "So that's it?" I asked. He looked at me like a man at the edge of a cliff. I wish I had never let it get this far. Then he left. The door didn't slam this time. It closed gently, as if even the house was too tired to protest. Days passed. Then weeks. I stopped brushing my hair. I stopped opening windows. I wandered through the house like a ghost, room to room, touching the walls, replaying every moment. One day, I found a photo tucked in the back of a drawer. The 3 of us, at the lake, arms around each other. We looked happy. I stared at it, then ripped it clean down the middle. Not out of anger, out of understanding. A few weeks later, a postcard arrived. "I'm working on healing. Please do the same." Signed, Karen. Not Dad. That word was gone now. But some ghosts don't just haunt. They wait. 3 weeks after he left, I heard the front door open at dawn. My breath stopped. Footsteps. Slow. Familiar. I stepped into the hallway, but it was only the wind. The door hadn't opened. I had imagined it. Again. I laughed. Just once. Then I locked the door from the inside and whispered to the empty house. "You chose her, but I'll be the one. You never forget." If this story moved you, or left something stirring inside you, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to never miss another emotional journey. Your support helps us bring more real, raw, and unforgettable stories to life. Thank you for being here.